Can we ever be fully prepared for the wrath of nature? What happens when a desert city like Dubai gets hit by a flood? Nature, in all its grandeur and unpredictability, has a way of reminding us of its power. A stark reminder of this came recently in the form of an unprecedented disaster in Dubai. The city, known for its sweltering heat and arid conditions, was hit by a flood, an event so out of the ordinary it left the city and its people in a state of shock. Dubai, a city designed to withstand scorching temperatures, found itself at the mercy of torrential rains. Within a span of 24 hours, the city was drenched by a record-breaking 10 inches of rainfall, an amount so staggering it's hard to comprehend. To put it into perspective, that's nearly a third of the average annual rainfall in London, one of the rainiest cities in the world, in just one day. The city's infrastructure, tailored for desert conditions, was caught off guard. The flood led to widespread disruption across the city, throwing life out of gear. Dubai's bustling airport, a significant global transit hub, was forced to halt operations. Schools across the city had to close their doors, leaving children confined to their homes. In a place where rain is an event, this was a catastrophe. The city's drainage systems, which rarely see more than a light drizzle, were overwhelmed. Streets turned into rivers, cars were swept away, and residents were left stranded in their own homes. The city, renowned for its towering skyscrapers and bustling markets, was brought to a standstill. In a city designed for heat, not rain, this level of rainfall was nothing short of a disaster. But Dubai wasn't alone. Other parts of the Middle East also faced the wrath of this unusual weather. It's not every day that we hear about rainfall wreaking havoc in the Arabian Peninsula. But in this case, the record-breaking rainfall of up to 10 inches in 24 hours was not limited to Dubai. Unprecedented floods were reported across the region, affecting the United Arab Emirates and Oman in particular. In Oman, the severe weather claimed no fewer than 18 lives, a staggering figure for a region typically characterized by arid conditions. But this wasn't an isolated incident. The storms didn't stop at the Middle East. They stretched their wet and windy fingers to other parts of the world too. Greece, for instance, was hit by severe rainstorms that resulted in floods, a rising death toll, and the rescue of over 800 individuals. The floods were so severe that some areas received double the average annual rainfall in just 12 hours. Now let's take a moment to put this into perspective. We're talking about regions that are typically dry, suddenly being inundated with water. We're talking about people who are used to dealing with heat, not floods, having to scramble to safety on rooftops. We're talking about governments that are used to dealing with sandstorms, not water rescues, having to mobilize their rescue teams. Now, what about Qatar and Saudi Arabia? Yes, they too found themselves in the path of this unusually wet weather. It seems that no part of the Middle East was spared from this unexpected downpour. So what's going on? Is this simply a case of bad luck? A one-off event? Or is it a sign of something bigger, something global? As we look at the bigger picture, we can see that these extreme weather events are not confined to one region. They're happening all over the world. The question is, can we attribute this to climate change or mere coincidence? The answer isn't straightforward, but one thing is clear. We need to pay attention to these unusual weather patterns, because whether we like it or not, they're a sign that our world is changing. Cloud seeding, a savior or disaster in disguise? This contentious weather modification technique has been at the heart of numerous debates. Used to enhance rainfall, the process involves implanting particles, typically silver iodide, into clouds to trigger precipitation. While the verdict on its effectiveness remains inconclusive, studies suggest it could potentially increase rainfall by between 5 and 30%, hinging on atmospheric conditions. Yet in places like Dubai, this seemingly beneficial technique has been accused of causing devastating floods. But is it fair to place the blame solely on cloud seeding? The truth might surprise you. Experts attribute these extreme weather events more to climate change and inadequate drainage infrastructure than to cloud seeding. So while it may be easy to point a finger at this scientific intervention, the real culprits are perhaps our own unsustainable habits and poor planning. However, this does not absolve cloud seeding of all potential risks. There are indeed environmental and health concerns associated with the practice. The introduction of foreign particles into the environment, for instance, could potentially harm ecosystems and human health, although more research is needed to fully understand these implications. Furthermore, cloud seeding has been criticized for its potential to deprive other regions of their much-needed rain. This raises complex ethical questions about the fairness and implications of manipulating weather patterns. Critics also argue that cloud seeding may promote a false sense of security, distracting us from addressing underlying issues like unsustainable water use and unequal water access. In our quest for quick fixes, are we neglecting the root causes of our water woes? While cloud seeding may promise a solution to water scarcity, it appears to be a double-edged sword. As we continue to grapple with the challenges of a changing climate, it's crucial that we approach such interventions with caution, understanding their potential impacts and considering the broader implications for our planet and its inhabitants. In the wake of the disaster, the city faced criticism, but was it justified? As the floodwaters receded, the city of Dubai found itself not only grappling with the immediate aftermath, but also with the storm of criticisms that soon followed. The main point of contention was the perceived inadequacy of flood prevention measures. Critics argued that the city, known for its ambitious architectural feats, had failed to adequately prepare for such an extreme weather event. However, it's important to remember that Dubai, like much of the Arabian Peninsula, is typically arid, making such a scale of rainfall unprecedented. But was the city's infrastructure really to blame? Yes and no. While it's true that the city's infrastructure was overwhelmed, this was a disaster of a scale that few cities could have been fully prepared for. The city received up to 10 inches of rainfall in just 24 hours, a record-breaking amount for a region more accustomed to dealing with sandstorms than rainstorms. Yet the criticism is not without merit. The disaster highlighted the need for improved drainage and flood prevention measures, especially in light of the changing climate. Experts have pointed out that extreme weather events, such as this flood, are becoming more common due to global warming. As such, cities like Dubai need to re-evaluate their preparedness and resilience in the face of such events. Furthermore, the disaster also brought to light issues related to the controversial practice of cloud seeding. Critics argue that while cloud seeding can increase rainfall, it also carries potential environmental and health risks, and could potentially deprive other regions of rain. It's a complex issue, one that requires careful consideration and robust scientific research. In the end, the disaster served as a wake-up call for Dubai and other desert cities. It underscored the urgency of adapting to a changing climate and the importance of robust infrastructure that can withstand such extreme weather events. The criticism, while harsh, has opened up valuable conversations about preparedness, resilience, and the responsible use of technology and weather modification. As we move forward, these are conversations we cannot afford to ignore. What can we learn from such disasters? How can we prepare for the unpredictable? When disaster strikes, it leaves in its wake a trail of devastation, but also lessons that can help us navigate future storms. The flood disaster in Dubai, for instance, underscores the importance of sustainable water use and climate change mitigation. It's a stark reminder that we live in a world where the weather patterns we've grown accustomed to can be upended in an instant. It's easy to point fingers at techniques like cloud seeding, but this only diverts attention from the larger, more pressing issues. We need to consider how our actions contribute to the changing climate. The floods in Dubai, Greece, and other parts of the world tell a story of a planet in distress, a planet that needs our care and attention. The lessons from the floods are not just about how we respond to disasters, but how we prevent them. They highlight the urgent need for improved infrastructure and planning. They underscore the importance of investing in systems that can withstand the extreme weather events that are becoming increasingly common. They call for a rethinking of our relationship with water, from how we use it to how we manage it. The floods also shed light on the importance of resilience. They show us that when disaster strikes, communities can come together to support one another, to rebuild and to recover. They teach us about the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. And finally, they remind us of our responsibility to the planet. They encourage us to rethink our consumption habits, to consider how our actions impact the environment, and to strive for a more sustainable future. The floods may have brought destruction, but they also brought lessons. They provided a glimpse into a future where such disasters could become the norm rather than the exception, a future we must strive to prevent. As we reflect on the events in Dubai and elsewhere, it's clear that the lessons learned are not just about disaster response, but about prevention, resilience, and sustainability. They're about understanding our changing environment and adapting to it. They're about recognizing our role in shaping the future of our planet. As we move forward, it's clear that understanding and adapting to our changing environment is more crucial than ever.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.